Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Welcome back. It's the Quarantine Film Series, baby. That's right. We're doing conversations with filmmakers now. So we've got the Quarantine Concert Series in the evenings at 10 p.m. Eastern, and we've started these conversations with filmmakers in the morning. Hope you have your tea or cappuccino made, ready to start the day with us talking about films. I'm your host, Kabir Segal, coming to you live from my parents' place in the ATL, Atlanta, Georgia. My mom's under strict instructions not to be on the Wi-Fi signal, but she secretly watches. So, hi, Mom. And I just want to say why we're doing this. Obviously, the concert series we started because we're in a time of international pandemic. All the gigs have been canceled. So we wanted to put the spotlight on the artists. These are the people that keep us motivated, inspired, and encouraged throughout the year. And we want to, create a platform for them to share their incredible artistry with us. Similarly, the filmmakers who make the films we all love, most of the film festivals have been canceled. So it's hard to get the buzz and the sales agent and the distributors all lined up. So we thought, why not use the same platform and spotlight some incredible filmmakers? These are the people making the films that will be on your big screens and little screens in the next few weeks and months ahead. So we are, Shane who produces this show, we created our first movie this year. So we're new to the space, and it's been great talking with these incredible artists who are creating the narratives that are going to sort of drive our conversation, both political and societal conversations throughout the next few months and years. So we're live on all platforms: Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Insta. We don't do these on Instagram, but I post them afterwards. Instagram Cracker. You can find us on Instagram. We're on LinkedIn, so if you're looking for a job right now, stay with us. We're going to keep you motivated with this, and interested and intrigued with these films that are coming your way. So with that, that's what we're doing. You can find more about what we do at quarantine.tube, where we have the full lineup of everyone who's joining us on the broadcast. And with that, I want to welcome to the show two incredible directors who've created a very topical and timely film. And please welcome to the show, Justin and Razi. Welcome.
Thank you for having us.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, you guys are both the directors of the new film Hamtramck. Tell me first, where are you both broadcasting from?
I'm in DC.
Yeah, I'm in Detroit.
Got it. So I'll do a better job of deconflicting. So tell me first, Justin, how has the quarantine, how has the physical distancing measures, how has it affected the film and sort of your professional endeavors?
Yeah, we were kind of a week out from South by Southwest, where we had got in, we're going to premiere the film, and it just had gotten canceled. And then, every other festival kind of quickly fell afterwards. So that was kind of a rough start. And, who knows when festivals will start back up again. So, a lot of places are kind of scrambling, trying to make an online platform and kind of restricting it so you don't, run into conflicts with other premieres later or other places in the world. We're all just trying to figure out how to kind of proceed through these times. Obviously, for gigs and stuff like that, that's gone away as well during this time, since you can't conduct film shoots and such.
Yeah.
There's a few things like that, but Razi and I are trying to figure out how to kind of manage through this, and we're looking for platforms to kind of build the hype and kind of find places for distribution.
Sure.
For the project down the road.
Razi, for those of us who have not seen the film, which is I think most of us, tell us what sort of the synopsis and the premise of what you both created.
So Hamtramck USA it's a documentary film that explores democracy in America's first Muslim majority city. So Justin and I met in late 2016 on the heels of the presidential elections that took place in 2016, and we had met and we started talking about collaborating on a project together, and we were both fascinated by this town, which is completely surrounded by Detroit, and so we knew that it was America's first Muslim majority city, and it was a fascinating place, and so we felt like it would be a great backdrop to tell some of these stories about multiculturalism, immigration, Islamophobia, civic engagement of different minority communities in the American political process. And we realized that there was going to be an election in 2017. And so that kind of gave us a great anchor for the story. So we started working on it at that point. And you know, the film explores the complexities of multiculturalism as well as everything that we celebrate, you know, about it as well. And I think there's a lot that, you know, America, the nation, and different communities around the world can learn from Hamtramck's achievements, failures, you know, and accomplishments around multiculturalism.
Talk to me about the journey on the film. Who do we follow, and what are the threads that you sort of look at throughout the film?
I guess I'll kind of take
go
ahead. You know, two of the main characters is, you know, Karen Majewski, who is the current mayor. She's the first woman elected mayor in Hamtramck's 100-year lineage of Polish mayors. And she's kind of, she's running for re-election. I think this was her fourth term. And so we follow her, but we also follow Fidel, who's on the screen now, who was a 23-year-old Iraqi immigrant. He kind of felt early on, he was telling people, you know, there's over 30 languages spoken in the school system. And it's a very diverse city, but there's not a large Iraqi community. And he was told by several people he wouldn't be able to succeed because of that lack of a larger community to tap into. But I think what he really succeeded at was kind of uniting people as a Hamtramckan, as a local kid. And, you know, he really was able to pull from all sorts of communities. And that's actually how you win an election in Hamtramck, because, you know, they say, who knows what the actual numbers are, but maybe the largest community is roughly 30% of the population there. So in order to win an election, you really do need everyone's support. And, you know, Fidel and Karen, or anyone who is achieving success in the city, electoral politics, you know, you're really succeeding because you're getting everybody. You're pulling.
Right. Talk to me about the production process. How did you film? How big was your crew? I know you guys are both directors, so how did you navigate working together? Yeah.
Well, it's kind of a funny story, because Justin and I met in the fall of 2016, and we really didn't know each other that well. But I could tell that he was a passionate person, and you know, because he lived in DC, and we kind of came up with this idea. So he just left all of his equipment in Detroit with me. And so he's like, well, if we're going to do this, you're going to have to start shooting. And this is my first film. I'd never worked on a film before. And so having very little experience, he kind of gave me a tutorial with the Canon C100 and just went back to DC. and then he'd come back every few weeks to shoot, and, you know, we'd work together. But that's kind of how the production started. And so that January, the first couple of weeks and months, was just kind of getting oriented with the equipment. And then the candidates started announcing, I think, in March or April of that year. And so that's when we really kind of started shooting. And then Justin would come back every few weeks. And then we were able to recruit a wonderful group of volunteers to help get footage for the film, because we couldn't be oftentimes, particularly in cases of like the primary day or the general elections, we couldn't be in like 6 or 7 different places. So we had a group of people that helped us film. And so that's kind of how it went down. And then Justin did move to Hamtramck for the last 6 months of production, from June until the end of the year, December of 2017.
Best place to eat in Hamtramck, Justin?
Yemen Cafe. I have to say, we actually gave them a caterer credit because we use them so much.
Okay.
We're like, we just got to do it. We're there constantly.
Yeah, I hear you. Biggest challenges for working on the film? Justin? What are some of the biggest challenges you had to overcome?
I mean, I think early on, passion outweighed experience, and this was a heck of a learning opportunity for us. So, really trying to figure out how to approach this. And there's so many interesting characters. I mean, two other characters that are heavily featured in the film is Kamal Rahman, who also is running for mayor, and Abraham Ayash, who is more of a community activist, but kind of advised Fadl a lot. And it was really hard once we got to the editing process of like when we're starting to think about who we really should follow, is cutting out interesting people. It was probably the biggest challenge for me, because there's so many different people we really wanted to keep following and really keep working with. So yeah, it's a city full of characters, and to leave some on the cutting room floor was quite painful.
Was anyone apprehensive for you to film and for their stories to be told? Because it can be quite intimate, right? You're running for an office and the cameras are in your face. How did you navigate that? Maybe Razi, you can talk about that.
Yeah, I think one of the things that, both Justin and I were pretty good at was developing relationships and friendships with a lot of the people in the film. We spent a lot of time with them without the cameras. We would visit them in their businesses and their homes, and we really got to know them. And there was only one person that really didn't want us following him, other than public events. And so we do have some footage with him in the film, and that's Mohammed Hassan, the mayoral candidate. But otherwise, we met with people, we ate with them, we spent time with them in churches and mosques, and visited their businesses. And I think that was the biggest thing, is just showing up without the camera and cultivating relationships. And I actually live in Hamtramck now, so I was really kind of became obsessed with the city during production, and so I actually decided to move here. So I moved here after production was over. So I do live here now, and many of the people that are in the film are people who are good friends of mine. So.
Do you think you would ever run for office in Hamtramck, Razi?
No, I'm not a political person. Not in that way. I'm interested in politics, but as theater, really. But I have zero political aspirations.
It's all theater. That's what they say about politics, political theater.
Fadl did ask us if both of us would come and run for city council. I was like, I don't think you understand why we're here. We're going to run for office.
How unique is the situation of having a majority town in America? Are there more places like this? Is it just here? What did you learn about other places that are similar to this?
Yeah, I mean, in some ways, Hamtramck is a very unique place. It is America's first Muslim majority city, and the sort of primary components demographically, you have a large Yemeni community, you have a large Bangladeshi community, and then you have a mix of people from Bosnia, Albania. Of course, it has a long history of Polish community as well, and then a bunch of other communities mixed in there. So in that regard, it's unique in in the particulars of its demographic makeup. But there's many cities around the country, places in New Mexico, Texas, California, that are quote unquote minority majority cities. And even that is a bit of a misleading term, because what happens when the minority becomes the majority? They're no longer the minority. So it's a little bit of a misnomer. But the demographics in the United States are shifting very quickly. I mean, this whole idea of minority majority nation, the year keeps getting closer and closer. I mean, I think the projections used to be in 2050, and now it's like 2043, that will be a minority majority nation. And so I think the communities like Hamtramck around the country, of which there's many now, are really important for us to understand and study, because the country as a whole is changing.
Right, microcosm, or what do they say, the tipping point, canary in the coal mine. So what did you find from a body politic perspective? What are some of the issues that were really important and resonated as these folks were on the campaign trail? Were they sort of similar to the ones that we would hear in other cities, or was something unique to this population?
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of concerns have to do with education, have to do with the local economy, kind of continuing to search. I mean, it's a town that was kind of boomed under the Dodge Main factory in the early half of the 20th century and into the later half of the 20th century. And that isn't there to the same extent. At least it's not the same job. There's not the same capacity for jobs. And so, I think a big part is just people are concerned about, what everyone's concerned about in many ways, education and security. So, yeah.
And I would just add that, there's, despite Hamtramck being so multicultural and it's united through class. I mean, it's a very
Definitely.
working class town. And so like Justin mentioned, people's concerns are around safety, health, I would add to that clean water,
Sure.
education as well. These are, immigrant communities, working class communities. They, it's like we sometimes tend to think of these communities as, extremely unique. And of course, in many ways they are, but the concerns are going to be the same,
Mm-hmm.
And I think one of the remarkable things that these immigrant communities have been able to do is restabilize Hamtramck, because much of the Polish population departed the city. It left, because these plants were closing. Some of these the Dodge Main plant, these jobs are no longer there. So understandably, these communities were leaving because of new opportunities. So that left a bit of a vacuum. And so it's kind of remarkable just looking at the story of the demographic shifts, but then it's also really interesting seeing how these communities have contributed to the revitalization and stabilization of a place like Hamtramck.
Yeah, a little bit more, I guess, difficult question. What do you say to someone who sees your film and it gives them concern of what's happening? Maybe it's more people are apprehensive with the trends and the demographic trends. If they look at a community like Hamtramck and they say they don't want something like this, and I'm sure there's feelings like that in America. They want the current, they don't want the changes in demographics. What would you say to them, someone who feels worry or anxiety about what's happening, the demographic trends? Maybe Justin, you can take that.
Yeah, I mean, I think the film kind of presents a very hopeful look and really kind of, without being preachy, really shows the benefits of it. And that's kind of something that we really created this film to kind of say, is letting the town kind of speak for itself and show the benefits without, kind of preaching. And I think that so far there's been people that may have had concerns that I've talked to about it and have really expressed interest and, real appreciation for this film, for what it kind of argues or what it kind of presents and shows kind of the benefits that a community like this creates.
Yeah. The only other thing, I'd just add a couple of things. I mean, I'm an immigrant, as well. And so I share that experience. And, one of the things that we know, from research on immigrants is that they create jobs, they start businesses, I live in Michigan where just looking at the Muslim community, many of whom are immigrants, we make up, I think, about 6% of the population of the state, but 15 or 16% of the physicians in the state are Muslim. And so the contribution that these communities have made is really profound. And I think if people don't understand this in terms of race and social cohesion, then maybe they'll understand economics and numbers and economic development.
Right.
And maybe that might be a better way to sort of approach this, is that, in my communities, immigrants have created a tremendous amount of jobs and brought a boom to the economy here in a way that, especially in places like Michigan, we really haven't seen in the last 50, 60 years.
Yeah, exactly. Your film is a great, look, and through filmmaking, we can share empathy and show other people's narratives. I have a couple questions about the post-production side. Well, first, what type of cameras did you guys use to shoot this? What were you editing in? And also, Shane and I, our music producers, talked to me about the soundtrack for the film. So the cameras, the production software, and the sound.
I'll tackle the software and cameras. So we shot Canon C100 was our main camera, and then pretty much all 5Ds, mostly for everything else. So stuck heavy with Canon.
Were you in Premiere? Were you editing in Premiere?
And then, edited in Premiere. And our editor, Luther Clement, who was based in Chicago. We started working with his film, Stay Close, had actually premiered at Sundance in 2019. And he was our editor. Really can't thank him enough for that. And really helped us bring it all together.
Got it. And your soundtrack and your music?
Yeah, we worked with incredibly talented composer Colleen Burke, who actually lives in Hamtramck as well. So we stayed local with her.
Yeah.
Got it.
And then kind of there's a few songs that are about Hamtramck that we found from like the 1940s, kind of plucked from relatively small songs, but it was kind of fun to try to track down who owns the rights to them. But there's some great kind of folksy songs about Hamtramck.
Got it.
That we kind of pulled as well.
So everyone watching, if you want to learn more about the project, go to the banner. We'll put it up, the Hamtramck documentary, their website. Justin, what can you tell us about distribution? Because I think a lot of us want to know when we can see this or where we can see this, and tell us where you are with that.
Yeah, that's still being worked out. We had hoped with South by that would kind of help finalize a few things. We did get grant funding from the Center for Asian American Media, which kind of provides a little bit of which gets their funding through the CPB, Corporation for Public Broadcasting. So PBS, we're hoping to get it there the early half of 2021. We'll certainly keep people posted on the website and social media when that finally gets locked up. But that's our main goal at the moment.
Cool.
Getting that locked in, and it's going to work out.
Awesome. Well, congratulations on the project. It takes a long time to put a film together, and it's a lot of hard work. So, and also congratulations for the South by Southwest selection. That's no small feat. So
thank you.
Wish you all the best with the venture, and I hope you'll put all the updates on your website when it's ready, right?
Definitely.
Yeah. Social media.
And we're Hamtramck Doc at on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram.
Cool. So let's look. Everyone, look all them up. Look up their website. Subscribe to the social media so you get notified. You don't want to miss this one when it comes to your screen. Thanks very much both for being on the show, both Razi and Justin. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I also want to say thanks to our main man, Shane Abudo, who produces this. And if you're in Los Angeles and need a good bowl of hummus, that's your man. He'll hook you up. He makes homemade hummus. You want some of that. So other than that, that's it. So we're going to be on tonight for the Quarantine Concert Series with a great Brazilian Latin Grammy nominated artist. I think he's going to be broadcasting from Brazil. So internet gods, I hope you please work out. And that's it. Keep it here 10:30 in the morning for conversations with filmmakers Eastern, and 10 p.m. Eastern at night for good music. Stay home, stay well. Bye, everyone.